Welcome to our new album. This is Pear Shaped in Dystopia. Every Wednesday night at 8:30. Yes, it's Pear Shaped, and we hope you'll come to see us and don't be late. Yes, it's Pear Shaped. It's just a favor to come in, and we hope that you'll be coming back again to Pear Shaped in Dystopia. Every Wednesday night at 8:30.
Yeah,
We are live. Finally got there. Good God.
And nobody's watching anyway now.
That's all right. Nobody's watching.
So I've given up. Must have given up.
That's all right.
This is a private event. This is a private event.
It is a private event. It's that's all right. Well, in fact, as nobody's watching, why don't we just put somebody? We've got somebody.
Oh, one person.
One person
Hello,
is watching.
one
I reckon
person.
that's probably Dave.
Thank you
It's
for
probably,
persevering.
Hello, Dave.
We don't know who it is. Two people are watching.
Two people are watching. It's getting better. Well, they probably couldn't get in because it was trying to send the signal to Krysstal's
To my account.
Krysstal's Facebook
Because
page.
we're on my computer. But it didn't do that last week. But who knows?
No.
Who knows? Anyway, we're here. We're running. We're up and running. Hello.
Hello. Good evening. And welcome. As David
Have you
Frost
all had a
used to
drink
say.
in a pub garden yet?
Yeah.
I haven't.
It's been great. We've been out in the pub all day, been shopping and hugging people. It's been fantastic. What a day.
Dave Marshall says he was worried it wasn't going to happen tonight, but it is.
Not as worried as we
Just
were,
a
Dave.
few technical issues,
No,
but we're
we
back on.
Just thought. I think I wasn't going to say anything. This is going to come as a shock now to some people here.
Oh, is this the thing
But
I'm not allowed to say?
This is a thing you're not allowed to talk about.
I'm not allowed to
right?
talk about it.
Right. I think what I'm going to say now, ladies and gentlemen, is I've fucking had enough. Right? I've had enough of this fucking
Not of
around
life.
every week with what?
Not of life.
No, not of life.
Just of
no.
pear-shaped.
I just want to get back. I just want my life back.
Yeah.
So fuck this. I'm not doing any more of this except next week. We've got a good lineup next week, and that's it. I've had enough. You can
No
all,
offence to anybody tonight.
You can all fuck off. All two or three of you watching. So I've just had enough. I can't cope with it. My computer's blown up. I've blown up a hard drive.
He's blown up his brain,
Everything's fucking blown up.
and he's spending like every day. On it. Every day, all day, every day.
I do comedy because I didn't want a job.
Yeah, it's turned
And
into a job.
this has turned into a job, and I'm not getting to do any comedy. So fuck it, I'll give up. It's a good job I don't swear.
Yeah.
Can you take that support a starving comedian off? Fuck them, let them starve. Just take it off, right? But no, we don't need support. We need but psychiatric support. We need, and now look, that's better, isn't it? See, that's better.
Right.
So. But what I have done in one of the... no, fuck it. Let Robert White do all the work. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to present to you a great pear-shaped favourite, Mr. Robert White. Thank you.
Okay, here comes.
You know, it's now illegal to not have a podcast or run an online debate class, and even the Queen set a going live reminder. And every dad is now a singer, all celebrities now video their dinner, and they're all on Zoom doing yoga in their front room. Oh, well, hope it's yoga. Now I food shop with an eBay bid, my haircut is 3D printed, and every film and show is up on Skype. I get Deliveroo for breakfast, my nan is now on Netflix, and my pants and socks my mum washed and then dropped boxed. A room full of internet helps monotonous lockdown. The bottomless lockdown. Hippopotamus lockdown. Oh, a room full of internet helps the grottiest lockdown. In everything you're viewing, even this video I'm doing. Everything. Blah, 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 blah.
Oh, that was Robert White.
Yeah, that was good, wasn't it?
Yes. That was Robert White. That was Al. We decided that we should actually explain the format of the gig, which is that we put on acts. Well, it used to be a live gig, but then we got thrown out of the venue, and sort of 5 years later, when there were no other gigs at all, we just thought, well, we'll bring it back. We don't need a venue, and we don't need people, and we don't need anybody to laugh. Apart from Al, we'll just have complete silence, because Pear Shaped wasn't exactly the world's most dynamic gig in the first place. I mean, a lot of the acts did die. I mean, it was a bit like the Duke of Edinburgh award scheme, where the Duke of Edinburgh was caught once because like 3 people died doing it, and they said to him, well, you know, it's a bit rubbish, this Duke of Edinburgh award scheme. People are going to die, and he said, well, sometimes people do die, but that isn't the intention. And that's very much how this works. Some of the acts will die, but that isn't what we're planning for. The great thing about the internet, you see, is that you know, you don't get booed or hard stares or negative feedback or silence. We get silence, and you either make money or you don't make money. And I think Brian has just realised that the economic model of this gig is a complete disaster, because we're making any money at all. The object of it was to try and do a doorstep gig online. Actually, the object of it was we're just bored. But now you can go out, you see, what's the point? We shall have to end at some point, because, I mean, who wants to be stuck here on the internet with us forever? I don't, and I'm here. Good. Prince Philip has died. That is the news this week. I just came to me the other day that all the TV presenters are in black. I was just watching the news and thought, there's a lot of black going on here. I wonder if somebody and then I realised they're all meant to be in mourning. But no one said we're wearing black at mourning. There's no armbands or anything, you know, it's all discreet, you know, we're just in black. Yes, I look like Alice de Sim. Yes, School for Scoundrels. Yes, I will teach you how to be amusing this evening. Good. He's one of the few people I can do. Shirley Williams has died as well. Her ashes will be spread in the middle of the road. These are jokes that work this week. Bernie Madoff's died. It's a week for deaths. Bernie Madoff's died. But Bernie Madoff's family have told everyone, all his friends, that they don't want people to give flowers at the funeral. Everyone is just going to bring a brick, and if they get enough bricks, they'll be able to build a pyramid in which to house him. Okay, that's a pyramid scheme joke. All right. It's going all right, hasn't it? I think we'll put an act on, because I think it's been a success already, and I don't want to kill the internet. So I'm just going to check who the next act is, because due to technical problems, I haven't actually got organised enough to check who the next act is. So can we have some love and appreciation, please, for the wonderful Mr. Roger Lane.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Roger Lane, and welcome to my world of sit-down comedy. Now, some of you may hear my name, Roger Lane, and think, blimey, what sort of family names somebody after a dogging site? And the answer is a very simple one: my bloody family. And we are a strange and interesting bunch. I think the problem was that we never had any family therapy. We didn't know we were dysfunctional. I grew up just thinking we were vermin, because that's what I got called at school. And looking back, some of the teachers were harsh to speak to me in that way, but hey, it was a different time back then. Things were different. My family were quite upset by the recent death of the Duke of Edinburgh. Okay, quite a lot of the distress was around the disruption to the television programmes, but it was an emotional reaction nonetheless for that. And as a family, we organised our own tribute. We didn't join in the official national 2-minute silence. Instead, we organised 5 minutes of casual racism. Because after all, it's what he would have wanted. My family are generally quite patriotic, but our patriotism has a certain fluidity about it, depending on which nation are due a party next. So, for example, at the beginning of March each year, for St David's Day, we all become Welsh. On the 17th of March, for St Patrick's Day, we all become Irish. And then on April the 23rd, for St George's Day, we all become racist bigots, because we're a family that love a party. We missed out on a party this year. We missed out on my dad's 100th birthday celebrations. Okay, so my dad died in 1988, but as I say, we're a family that love a party. As a younger man, my dad was often mistaken for the Duke of Edinburgh. Not that he looked anything like him, but he wandered through life upsetting people and talking like a cunt. It was an easy mistake to make. The problem he had really was the drink, the booze. He was a dipsomaniac. And I'm aware that description could equally apply to the Duke of Edinburgh, but on this occasion I am talking about me dad. I think the problem was he was haunted by the war. He used to hear these terrible voices inside his head shouting at him. Unfortunately, they were all shouting in German. He couldn't understand a bloody word they were saying. Not that my dad had ever actually been involved in the war. He just watched an awful lot of programmes on daytime television. And as a result, he found himself in a lifelong, wholly imaginary conflict with Germany. In that sense, you could say he was an early Brexiteer. My dad was known as the town drunkard. And given we were living in London at the time, that gives you some idea of the severity of the problem. So that's me family. The other thing I want to talk to you about this evening is the whole idea of St Patrick and St Patrick's Day, because at school we heard the story about St Patrick going to Ireland and ridding the country of snakes by driving them down a well. And I remember thinking, a bloke who does stuff like that must be into quite a lot of other interesting shit too. So I'm going to carry out a programme of extensive research. And by a programme of extensive research, what I really mean, of course, is I'm going to Google it. There was a time when science was used to mean the collection and collating, interpreting and analysing of data to draw logical conclusions based on the evidence available. These days it means whatever in the foreground of the Prime Minister's diseased imagination at that particular time. However, to return to St Patrick, or just plain Patrick as he was when he first went to Ireland. He didn't get called Saint till quite a bit later on. When he first went to Ireland, it didn't go well for him. He was captured and held as a slave by pirates for a total of 7 years before he managed to escape. What a fucking awful 7 years that must have been for him. Now, I don't know about you, I've had some pretty shitty holidays in my time, and apart from giving a scathing 1-star review on TripAdvisor, I tend to never go back there again. But Patrick was made of sterner stuff. After escaping, he returned to Ireland and convinced people that he had rid the country of snakes by driving them down a well. Now, a couple of points to make here. The first thing is that many contemporary scholars regard the story of St Patrick and the snakes as being an allegory for the persecution of the indigenous pagan population by the incoming Christians. And as such, St Patrick's Day can be seen as a glorification of religious persecution. Another interesting point is that the fossil evidence of Ireland suggests there never were any snakes there in the first place. So what clever old Patrick did was went across to Ireland and claimed credit for causing a wholly imaginary problem. Again, a bit like Brexit. So here is my plan for the future when we're allowed out of lockdown. I'm going to visit the county of Kent. I'm going to tell the people I have rid them of poisonous rainbow unicorns. As such, they will beatify me and make me their saint. It will be good for my self-esteem, and it will really piss off Nigel Farage, so it's worth doing for that reason alone. Well, thank you for listening this evening. I've been Roger Lane, and you've been Rogered. Good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, Roger Lane.
And his rainbow unicorn.
Marvellous, Roger. And if you wondered why that was sort of sped up a bit, was because it was about fucking 20 minutes long. But it's all right. I've got it down to about 20. They call me Mr. Happy, that's a bloody joke. Just 'cause I'm a comic, they think I'm a cheerful bloke. Tell us life is funny if you just approach it right. Well, I bent over backwards, mate, and I still think it's shite. Someone sneak me bobble hat, me bobble, 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 bobble. Someone sneak me bobble hat, me bobble, bobble hat. Topical stuff. We did a gig a while ago in a pub in Bethnal Green, the kind of place you park your car somewhere it can be seen. The place was full of lunatics and the governor was mad, and then I saw her husband, fuck me, he was twice as bad. Someone snicked me bobble hat, me bobble, 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 bobble. Someone snicked me bobble hat, me bobble, bobble hat. At last a song that says it all.
Yeah.
I tried to entertain him, tried to raise the dead, fighting off that imbecile with bubbles in his head. First he broke the microphone and then he bent the stand, and then he got his bobble out and I gave the Burke a hand. He said bobbleheads are groovy, bobbleheads are cool. Alright, that's your bit, is it?
It's saying someone's nicked me bobble hat.
It's like someone's nicked me bobble hat, me bobble, 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 bobble. Someone's nicked me bobble hat, me bobble, bobble hat. Do you remember the last time we did this? It was about 5 years ago.
Yeah, I don't know.
Alright, keep going.
Bobble hats are groovy.
Yeah.
Bobble hats are cool.
That's right.
I always wore a bobble hat when I went off to school. I'm not smitten with me mittens. They make me hands look fat. But you should see me anorak
With a matching bobble hat. Oh, first I started doing this, at least you had a chance. You could play a bit of music and they'd sing along or dance. But nowadays it's different. You really meet some twats, 'cause pubs are full of lunatics and they love their bobble hats.
Give me back me bobble hat, me bobble, 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 bobble. Give me back me bobble hat, me bobble, bobble hat.
I never had a bobble hat, and I know I never will. And if anybody mentions one, it makes me want to kill. I think this thing is rubbish. I could be right or wrong, but I bet you think the chorus is the best bit of the song. Oh,
Give me back me bobble hat, me bobble, 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 bobble. Give me back me bobble hat, me bobble, bobble hat.
they call me Mr. Happy. That's a bloody laugh. I'm so bloody happy I could chop me cock in half. I'm so bloody happy, so happy I could die. In fact, I've never been so fucking happy. H-E-P-Y. H-A-P-P-Y.
Someone nick me bobble hat, me bobble, bobble, bobble hat. Someone's nick me bobble hat, me bobble, bobble hat.
Someone's nick me bobble hat, me bobble, 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 bobble. Someone's nick me bobble, 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 bobble hat. Oh, bobble, 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 bobble. Bollocks. Thanks, Al. I can't say I feel any better. Who the fuck is on next?
Well,
Right. Well, you know what you need after a song like that is something a bit topical, is a bit of poetry. A bit of poetry, ladies and gentlemen, from the one and only Mr. Joshua Ross. Thank you.
I've got to find him. Where is
You've
he?
got to find it, yeah. You're supposed to be fucking paying attention. There he is. Look.
Oh, it's called Two Breakdowns. How the hell am I supposed to know about that?
Yeah, well, you don't, because you're not prepared. Unlike me, I'm highly skilled and know exactly what's fucking going on. You obviously haven't got a clue.
No, I've got no clue. Here
Go
he
on,
comes.
do the best you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what an unexpected surprise. It's a bit, was a Lloyd Grossman thing? Through the keyhole. Through the keyhole meets cribs. Good evening, I'm Joshua Ross, but you can call me the ghost that's back from the dead in the land of the broken. I've been single for a year. Well, my ex was a ball of aggression. She downed the vodkas while I nursed a session. Meet the privileged product of this 12-year recession, who's twice broken down of emotional suppression, as I'm valiantly seeking a seventh profession, telling a potential new boss I make a great second impression, still rebuilding the skills to have any discretion. Till then as loaded as Catholic confession, I was praying for a Corbyn accession. Now I'll flirt with the right to try and make a little money. Can you tell me if that's funny? Did you start doing it in 2012, honey? Feel like a ghost in a good way, get a tale of hope out of a past of pain, work on running out of things to say. On my last strike there's higher stakes, 2 breakdowns down, or is it 3 now? I'm back from the dead in the land of the broken. The world goes backwards, the country goes backwards quicker, the city goes backwards quicker, North East London goes backwards quicker, boom. I leapfrog to the top. Check my Instagram, every day a photo of the same tower block. I've been single for 2 years and changed now, unless you believe in dating yourself. Or you count those few weeks I sporadically sexted an ex. It wasn't even an ex, it was an old fling. And I mean, she's finally gone from bi to lesbian, but I unloaded a little depression. So I go out to meet women I like less than her, to flirt with, to not ask out, to go home, to fantasize about sexual tension we could have turned into arguments in the next 4 to 8 months. You know, I was saying, Rich, this poem's like a little over a year old. I sort of performed it a few times back in the old days, but it was announced today that Wu-Tang Clan have reappeared in the Texas multiverse on the new Texas album because, as I was saying, arguments in the future, you know, schizophrenic conversations with imaginary exes. My dream threesome is Method Man with Texas at the Brit Awards 1998. Say what you want. YouTube recommends this. A Kurt Angle on triple suplexes. As Barrett meets Punk, day 1 of the Nexus. London burns with New York duplexes. You stuff your face with Tex-Mexes. All my exes live in Texas. You're all squares, I'm convexes. I've lifted myself of all my hexes. Can you write regardless of class or sexes? Can you cash my checks? No, we're all checkless. The moody bastard intentionally vexes. The Spinosaurus in the land of T-Rex. You know, T-Rex, it's got big head, small arms and good PR. Because you set the bar low. It's the anti-Joshua of dinosaurs. Set the bar low. Try and do the limbo. You can't do the limbo. Addicted to some reboot of Halo, Grand Theft Auto, Gran Turismo, Street Fighter 2 Turbo. That 1 year you're into ISS Pro, Doom. To play FIFA Year Zero. You can't live life on ground zero. An 8-week delay to a summer bookkeeping course that have been privatised, corrupted and outsourced. I spent my summer hiding from sociopathic flatmates in bed. I'll be pale all winter. I can't be a bummer outside my own head. Progress, I can't feel quite like it. You can't take a bad reason to quit. You've got to try and dig your way out of a pit. Forgive yourself for every slip. Clean your room, it's still a tip. You can't take a good reason to quit. When your mouth runs, bite your lip. Shake your ass when life cracks the whip. You can't just regret everything. Goodbye to a ghost, aka Joshua Ross, aka J-Ro, aka XOXO Gossip Boy, aka your king of our counterculture.
Yes, that was Joshua Ross with his poetry, and wandering about. It's quite impressive. He's wandering about and being in one shot like that, getting someone else to carry the phone. I've never achieved that, getting somebody else to film me. That's a limit. You know, this is it's all right. This isn't it. It's you know, the worst things you can do. I've had worse jobs. I remember one job I had. I was basically just checking professional wrestlers to see that they hadn't been taking steroids. It was like trying to find a needle in a giant haystack. So yeah, that is a joke. Good. I saw pubs are open again, so you can go and be Mr. UKIP. I liked UKIP. They were sort of they kind of had a sort of fun about them. I mean, they were a bit bigoted, but I sold them a case of South London beer. It was a case of Pride and Prejudice. I'm really impressed actually that they've managed to get, as the UKIP candidate for the London election for mayor, they've managed to get a candidate who's actually called Mr. Gammon. That is just Mr. Gammon. That's all right. It's so good. I wonder, did Mr. Gammons change his name? So that's right. That's the best thing since. That's the best name since. The only thing that's better than that is the Croydon BNP. The Croydon BNP is run by the very English Krysstal and his associate who ran for the London Mayor one time, the very English Mr. Carlos Cortilega. I mean, where do they get these people from? Couldn't they even pretend to have English names? I mean, they can get like pictures for their ads, can't they? Where they've just got Photoshop people that have sold their pictures to ad agencies, and they just glue them all together to get all the ethnicities. But they're not actual real members; they're just models. And then eventually, the models write in and complain that when I sold my picture to this agency, they didn't tell me that they was going to end up on the local Croydon BNP poster. Like the woman who ended up on the Cyber First poster, who was a dancer. Good. So that's there's anyway. I'm in a relationship. Well, there's a new lift at work with a female voice. It's a bit up and down. Everyone's been inside her. That is misogynist, but it works on a lot of different levels. I was discussing this with this joke with John Sharp today, the great intellectual that is John Sharp, and he said, well, it is a bit misogynist, and it is, but it's interesting because I was watching this documentary, and apparently things like lifts and functional things all have female voices, and things that tell you what to do, like sat-navs by default, all have male voices, because men don't like to be told what to do by women, they like to be told what to do by other men. So there is a social comment aspect to that, but when I explain it, it's not as funny as a dirty joke. Good. That's not my level. That's too. But there's something weird about that, isn't there? Good. Well, yes. The thing is, the lift had artificial intelligence, so if you went in it at certain times of day, it would say different things. Like if you went in at the right time, say "Good morning, Mr. Miller." And it would say, if you went at home at a certain time, it would say "Goodbye, Mr. Miller." If you went at a different time, say "Good night, Mr. Miller." It didn't actually say Mr. Miller, but it said, goodbye, hello and goodbye. That was about the limit of its conversation. Good morning, hello and goodbye. But it definitely had the odd things that it said sometimes, as I remember. Anyway, Leon House has changed from offices to flats, so if you want to buy a flat, you can go and buy a flat in Leon House in my old office, and you can listen to this lift, should you so desire. And you can have a relationship with the lift that has now left me. Good. Anyway, that's enough about lifts and inanimate objects that I've had relationships with. I think we should put on another act now, because let's keep it moving before Brian kills himself. So can we have some love appreciation, please, for the next 2 minutes of Pat and Math?
Hi, Sean.
Catherine, hello. And a big shout out to everyone on B-Wing's favourite screw, Mickey the Drugs Malone. And welcome to another episode of 2 Mins of Pat and Math. Now, Catherine, what's tonight's question?
Well, I know we both live in London. There's a lot of pests in London, a lot of people. It's always going to happen. So I suppose I just wanted to ask, how do you keep on top of pests?
An interesting one. By pests, obviously, we mean like animals, not bad people.
No.
Not sex.
Yeah, like rats, mice.
Yeah. Well, I live in what's called a nice area. So perhaps we don't have as many of those as you in your slum area. But I suppose the key elements are keep it clean, keep a close eye out, and if you catch a mouse, what I always find works well is catch it in one of those glue traps, put it in a plastic bag, take it outside, maybe a little way away from the house, and smash it against a wall.
Wow.
And they don't come back after that. What about you? Have you got a solution you'd like to share with us?
That is so cruel. Wow. No, I found a good solution. What I did was I got one mouse. I caught it, not in a glue trap. I think they're inhumane.
Yeah.
And what I did was I killed it humanely. I put him in a little top hat. Give him a little suitcase. You see that?
I see that. I can't quite believe it, but
yeah, taxidermied him.
Yeah.
And now I just leave him in the kitchen as a warning to others.
And just to be clear, because obviously some people think what we're doing here is some sort of joke or comedy. You really did that, didn't you? That's a real mouse.
Yeah.
Stuffed.
Yeah.
And dressed up.
Yeah.
And you've now kept that.
Yeah.
That was disgusting. That was disgusting, wasn't it?
I thought it was nice. It's cute.
Yeah, well, you would. You're a woman. That's the kind of thing that women do. Is they take mice and.
We rescued a mouse once.
We did.
It was flying around in a plastic bag.
Yeah,
and it was tiny.
You make that. Is that a euphemism?
It was this plastic bag. It was really windy. It was going, and then I looked in it as it landed, and this tiny, tiny little baby mouse was in there, like almost having a heart
So she
attack.
fucking stood on it.
No, I didn't. No, but anyway, we rescued it.
And we had a big argument about it, didn't we?
Yeah, we had it. Well, no, we don't argue.
Oh, well, no, we don't. Actually. Well, we do.
Well, we do.
Sometimes.
Sometimes we argue.
I mean,
Sometimes we don't.
sometimes we argue in the car in the middle of nowhere. We'll be arguing about something or other.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah.
I think we got to pull in somewhere and shut the door properly. I've got a feeling that my door is deliberately left open by you. Yeah. So maybe I might fucking fall out. Oh, look at that water in it. Oh, look at that. It's nice, isn't it?
Everything's nice.
Yeah, but I'm...
taste, you just think everything's nice.
I'm in touch.
Everything's nice. Some things aren't nice, but you won't know the fucking difference.
Well, I'm in touch with fucking nature, and unlike you're in touch with shops.
Yeah, what's that?
I'm in touch with fucking nature.
Yeah, but nature's all dirty and smelly and that.
Well, so are you, but I don't fucking complain about that, do I?
Oh, God, I wish.
See, if like, you think that perfume, right, is there to cover up the stink, it's not. You got to wash, then you put the fucking perfume on.
Yeah, but tell that to your deodorant. You should spray deodorant down your undies, that's where it's needed most.
Oh, fucking
That stinks the most.
I don't wear undies, what are you talking about?
Oh, well, that makes it worse.
That's just because I don't wash around that area, that's all. Not because I'm dirty.
I have to clean it up after you. I do all the washing.
Yeah.
If you did the washing, you wouldn't be so unliberal with your toilet.
If I did the washing, I'd be walking around dressed like a woman, wouldn't I? Like you. Well, like you should. You walk around dressed like a fucking bloke.
Yeah.
You know that your job is...
Dressing, it's suave.
No, you're not supposed to dress when you're in a bad mood. Cross-dressing, you're not supposed to dress when you're in a bad mood. You're supposed to dress like you're supposed to dress for other people.
If I didn't dress when I was in a bad mood, I'd never fucking get first, would I?
Well, most of the time you don't, do you? I'm only talking about...
Ever since I met you, I've been in a permanent bad fucking mood.
Yeah.
That's what you do to me. It's upset me all the time.
Fucking easy to upset you, isn't it? All I have to say is get your clothes on.
Fucking exist, that's upsetting me.
That's nice, isn't it?
Sitting there existing upsets me.
Yeah. Well, pardon me for fucking breathing. I didn't know it was such a trial for you.
Pardoned.
I still
love you, though.
Yeah, I fucking love you too.
Right.
That's that out of the way. Fucking forget it now, right?
Yeah.
That's the end of the argument.
From many years ago.
Yeah, 10 years ago. Yeah. And we're still fucking blissfully happy,
I
aren't
think
we?
it was longer than 10 years ago because that was my old car.
Yeah, 15 years ago.
Yeah,
25 years ago.
Oh.
Even before we met. We're going to put Al on, aren't we?
Al, are you ready to do your tune?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to do one I did before, yeah.
Yeah?
This is the illegal one.
Right.
It was made illegal by Elizabeth I. It's the Abbott's Bromley Horn Dance. It's one of my favourite tunes. I like this.
Is that it?
Cracking tune, that, isn't it? Eh? 400 years old.
You can hear the
Yeah.
horns. You can hear the horns.
I can hear the sound of Queen. What did she have against it then? Was she just like?
Because it's a pagan virility ritual.
Oh right, I see.
Yeah, it was a religious thing. Yeah. And they haven't repealed the law.
Oh right.
You can be stuck in the tower for performing that or listening to it.
Yeah, well, you've just broken Section 127 of the Communications Act as well, then.
Whatever.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll go and burn some pagans now. Yeah. Good. Anyway, there we are. Royalty. There's nothing silly about royalties. They're all very important. It's funny because I was discussing them.
Handy. Look.
I was discussing the royals and I was just saying, they do have too much power still, and people always deny that they have any power, and eventually somebody said, because constitutionally the Queen has to approve everything, every law, and so she has actually broken the Constitution at least twice when. She appointed Alec Douglas Home, who was, of course, not in Parliament at the time when he became Prime Minister. And the second time was the prorogation of Parliament in 2019, when Boris told her to prorogue Parliament. She said yes, and it was illegal, according to the Supreme Court. But of course, the Supreme Court can never say that the Queen is wrong, because they're all members of the Privy Council, so they've all made an oath to never say that the Queen is wrong. As has the Prime Minister, as has everyone else who is in the Privy Council. So no one can ever admit that the Queen got anything wrong. So this is quite a good arrangement, really. But anyway, I was having this discussion and somebody said, it's a conspiracy theory. You'll be bringing in the Masons next. And then I thought, but Prince Philip was a third-degree Mason. He was Chief Mason in the London Lodge, in the big one in, there we are. Anyway, there's a little tidbit, really. It's like, you can't win, can you? It's like, and then I had an argument with the Masons where they were going on at me about, how open they are, only because they hang that bloke off Blackfriars Bridge and you can't get any punters anymore. So you thought, well, we've got to tone down secrecy a bit, It's gone a bit over the edge there, hasn't it? Anyway, I'll put another act on because otherwise I'll turn into Alan Craig Campbell or something and go mad conspiracy world. Right, so can we have some love and appreciation, please, for the wonderful Mr. NIK COPPIN.
Hey, Brian and Krysstal. Thanks for having me onto your show. Obviously, it's always a pleasure to do Pear Shaped, whether it be in Victrovia or Dystopia, which is kind of what we're in now. I'm happy to be in Brighton. People have asked, what have I done throughout all this lockdown, this craziness? Well, she's been shacking up with the better half in Brighton. Really, no money, obviously, counting all the money that I haven't made. But I've been looked after, so that's good. Currently in the Beverly area, Brighton. I moved to a new house, got myself a nice new kind of office, superheroes on the wall. But if you really want to know what I've been up to, I've actually been doing some writing, believe it or not, writing and drawing. One of the things I've been doing is, doing comedy legends, like, drawing pictures of comedy legends. We've got Richard Pryor. There you go. Shouldn't have told you who it was. Let you guess. Got a bit of rock going on here as well. Some people say that Pryor is better than the Chris Rock, but it was very difficult to draw, weirdly enough. Can't really explain. Some people just are. But, that's what I've been doing. A bit of drawing here and there, a bit of going for walks, trying not to think of not being in Kuala Lumpur, Australia and Spain. Oh man, I had Spain, Germany, Belgium gigs, had some stuff building up nicely in Spain. Could have maybe got you out there sometime, Brian and Krysstal, but COVID killed that. And obviously, Brexit may kill it even further. We shall see. But I'll tell you what, so some people always say to me, Coppin, you don't write new stuff. So I'll tell you what, just for you, got some jokes that I've written during lockdown. Do you want to hear them? Of course you do. It's kind of what I'm here. So, some of them based on true stories, obviously. This one, for example. I've taken a few notes. So there was one time, I was out having a walk, I was in the forest, and there's this woman lying, dehydrated, in the middle of the forest. So without a moment's thought, I ran through thick brambles, thistles, dangerous creatures here in Brighton, as you can imagine, and I managed to get from a perennial plant 4.56 litres of liquid to take back to her from this perennial plant. Say what you like, but that was gallantry. I'm here all week. Try the souffle. How about that? Okay, maybe not this one. Let's get a bit more international, shall we? I met my old mate Samuel Jenkins the other day. And we were talking about the time we decided we were going to go to Japan, because he loves a bit of, Japanese history, all that sort of stuff, right? We're on the tour, and on the tour guide said to us, at the end of this tour, one of you is going to be become a noble, honorary, military, warrior swordsman. So I said to the tour guide, I said, samurai. Okay, all right. No, samurai, sword. Japan, samurai. Okay, all right then. I'll tell you what, look, we're having a bit of, can you hear the 80s music in the background? A bit of Whitney Houston there, was a bit of George Michael before that, a bit of Michael Jackson coming up next. So let's get a bit 80s, shall we? So how about this one? There was actually a reason that Dr. Jonathan Chase only really ever turned into a hawk or a panther. He was a manimalist. I'm here all week, still here all week. Try the chicken. Alright, okay, that's a bit shit. But I'll tell you what, before I do go, because obviously, busy man, clearly, and I want you to get on with doing the show and stuff. I will say that, people say, oh, you don't actually write a book during lockdown. Look at that. 4 and 5-star reviews on Amazon, I have, Look, get yourself a copy. Might even send you a copy, Brian. You never know. So, so that was pretty cool. It kind of came about because it's something I wanted to do, and kids author Stuart Reed, he does kid shows with me and stuff. He saw me dictating stuff into my phone. He said, why don't you dictate stories? I didn't really write a book, I kind of dictated it, and then we kind of edited it. But also, something else I think you might like here on my desk of delights, Brian and Krysstal. DVD. I've been doing a gig in Germany. Remember We Can Still Travel? Yeah, I can still travel. So it's a gig we're doing a DVD that I've got, mate. More of a labour of love. Who has DVD players now, right? But saying he filmed it. It's like a 46-minute extended set I did. He filmed it, 3 cameras. I thought, let's do something with it. So I did. Put a few extra bits in, like some cartoons I did, animations with Mike Belgrave, gigs in Singapore, Dubai, Cambodia. I was made to eat a spider on stage in Cambodia, so that's all on there, so check it out. Actually, but speaking of spiders, you know what, Brian, I'd love to stay, but you know what, some of us, speaking of spiders, have got things to do, and you may not have much in lockdown, but in lockdown people still need saving, so sorry, but I've got shit to do. Got to get going, Brian. So, I'll bid you farewell, got stuff to do, people to say, lives to sort out. Is that mask on properly? It doesn't matter. Gotta go.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Mr. Nick Coppin doing a load of fucking advertising.
Yeah, he's doing his shop. He's doing his shop, wasn't he?
Huh?
He's doing his shop.
Yeah,
And if you buy stuff, you've got to wrap it, haven't you?
Yeah, you've got to wrap it.
You've got to wrap it.
I've got that. I've got that, see?
Yeah, you've got
I'm in
it.
touch.
Yeah. It's not hip hop, it's better than pop. It's a bubble wrap. The bubble wrap. If you got a knick-knack that you want to send back, it's bubble wrap. The bubble wrap. If you're hit with age, then it's all the rage. It's a bubble wrap. The bubble wrap. If you're looking for some trouble, come and squeeze my bubble. Do the bubble wrap. Bubble wrap. It's really very pleasing. Let your fingers do the squeezing in the bubble wrap. The bubble wrap. You can do the talking, I'll do the walking with the bubble wrap. Bubble wrap. Bubble wrap. I don't like to mention how you get your pension, go down the PO and you get your dough. Bubble wrap. Bubble wrap. Bubble wrap. Happy bubble hat. Summer's happy bubble, happy bubble. Summer's happy bubble, happy bubble. Made bubble. Yeah, that was something, wasn't it?
It's alright. Yeah. Don't know what the fuck that was about, but there you go. It doesn't matter. It'll all be over next week.
Well, we've got to get these bubbles and bubbles in while we can. So we've got...
I was thinking of killing myself earlier on. I thought, oh, fuck it, we've got to do another week.
Well, there's Angus. He loves this. He loves it.
I know. People like watching people having fucking nervous breakdowns.
Yeah, they do. Speaking of which...
It's very entertaining.
Is our man in La La Land.
And... yeah, ladies and gentlemen, our man in La La Land. Give it, the one and only is Cole Parker.
Well, hello, and welcome to Cole Parker live in Los Angeles for Pear Shaped in Dystopia. Although I was not supposed to be live this week. No, you see, because last weekend, I went to Mexico for some dental treatment, right? And while I was down there, I made this glorious film, okay, all about my adventure, getting some dental treatment, and I send it in to Brian, right? But apparently, according to Brian, me discussing in horrific detail the horrors of a root canal, apparently that isn't comedy, is what he said. I said, Brian, what I normally do isn't fucking comedy. He said, Cole, so this week I've got 4 shit videos already. You're going to have to turn up and be shit in person. So here I am, ladies and gentlemen. Before I start, a couple of things. Stop agreeing so much for that, Krysstal. So, couple of things before I start. First of all, I noticed Anthony Miller, our esteemed host, has had a haircut. And I'm not going to mock him. I think it looks really fucking good, actually. Have you ever seen what a drag artist look like when they rip off their wig, right? I tell you what, it might just be the drugs talking, I don't know. But he looks fucking good. The barber's done a good job on his hair. They both look magnificent, right? But anyway, that's not why I'm here this week. Oh, shit, there's so much to get through this week. I've got to mention Prince Philip as fucking whatever. Prince Philip, who it must have been a surprise for him. Really, for dying. I mean, I think, what do you think killed him? I think it was finding out from Oprah that he was a racist. That's probably what pushed him over the fucking edge. What do you think? Personally, I was surprised that he died because I thought he'd already died about 3 years ago. If you look at him, he looked a bit corpse-like. I thought they were just strategically giving him the appearance of life with electric shocks and maybe like a hidden speaker which played colonial phrases anytime a native person got too close to him. That's what I thought was happening. But anyway, I digress. I was trying to talk about my travels, right? And comedians have to be careful when we travel. We always get in trouble. Very, very good friend of mine, Ian Cognito, rest in peace, who died 2 years ago. He went traveling to India a few years back. And while he was in India, he went up a mountain, did the proper traveling thing. He brought 3 Sherpas with him, 3 guys. You need 3 guys because they have to do it in shifts, right? And while they was up a mountain, right, this is no lie, they fucking mugged him, right? They did. They mugged him. They took him for about $2,000 in traveller's checks, right? They left him with his clothes he was wearing, his passport, and about a tenner. And the thing was, because he's halfway up a fucking mountain, he had to stay with them to come back for like another 5 days to stay with his muggers. It was anyway, because comedians, we always get in trouble when we trouble. We always do. Most of my trouble normally stems from my relationships. A few years ago, I dated a porn star, probably the most Hollywood thing I'll ever do. I wouldn't recommend it. One of those things where the reality is much, much grimmer than the fantasy. You know, you're dating a porn star. I remember being in bed with her and we're getting a bit frisky. And she says, I'm sorry, darling, we can't have sex tonight. I've got to drive down to San Diego tomorrow to get fucked in the ass by 5 rappers. No. Okay. Perhaps when you get back then. But no, she got a hotel room because she couldn't drive after that shift. Safety first, really, you know. And that's the thing. We always end up in these situations. I will leave you guys with this. I was asked this week, very, very American thing. I was asked to take part in an intervention. I wasn't keen. I refused. I don't like the whole concept of that. You have to jump out on someone who's supposed to be your friend, and then you put them in a circle, and then you take turns telling them how they fucked up your life, and then they're taken away to an expensive rehab facility, which they pay for. And I find that quite a disgusting thing to do to a friend. They said, have you never been involved in an intervention? I said, only a British intervention. British intervention, a little bit different. A British intervention, that's when all your mates stop you from leaving the pub when it's your round. Now, this weekend, I'm going back to Mexico and I'm making a fucking video, Brian, all right? Until next week, this is Cole Parker, live in Los Angeles for Pear Shaped in Dystopia.
Cole Parker with his teeth, with his teeth and hair and romance. Sort of romantic stories. Lovely. That's a beautiful romantic life. Yeah, so good. Yeah. Yeah. Never mind. So we're edging towards the end of lockdown and this gig and Pear Shaped and Dystopia Forever. I don't know about you, but when the gym's open, I won't be going, but I'll feel as though a weight has been lifted. But yeah, yay, jokes, yeah. There are worse things than this, Brian. You know, Don Ward has resurrected the Gong Show, so you can go online and be booed by 500 people instead of being booed in reality. And then if you're good, he'll put you on a day that doesn't exist yet. But there we are, because there will of course be no queue for gigs after lockdown. Anyway, I can do that joke because I won the Gong Show years ago and we were all terribly embarrassed. Good. So I think we're just going to move on and put the next act on, because I think I peaked. If we crack on, we could all get them together. When you've had bad sex, you just want to get away. So can we have some love and appreciation, please, for the next act? Yes, Mr. Ross Ferratu.
So, my mate Phil calls me earlier this morning, and he's eating me Wheatos, and he goes, it's happening. I said, did you what? He said, it's happening, isn't it? I said, is it? He says, yeah. We're having to self-isolate. I said, who's this? He said, it's Phil. I said, what do you want, mate? Trying to watch Columbo. He said, it ain't Sunday. I said, what do you want? He said, we're self-isolating, aren't we? Not going to be able to see you for a while. I said, I don't know you are. He said, Phil. It's Phil, you know. Tattoo Phil. I said, I never knew that was your name. Parents are cruel, aren't they? He said, I went out yesterday and got himself a mask. I said, did you what? He said, I went out yesterday and got myself a mask. I said, a mask? What for? He said, so I don't catch the disease. He said, you ain't bought a mask? How old are you? He said, I'm 39. I said, you went buy a mask's a bit extreme, isn't it? You want to take a hard look at yourself, mate. He said, I've got the Coronation Street virus. I said, did you what? He said, I've got the Coronation Street virus. I said, have you? So I said, it's going down the street. He said, what are you doing to self-isolate? I said, did you what? He said, what are you doing to self-isolate? I said, I'm doing everything I normally do. I did a bit of watching of the birds in the garden. Made myself a tea. Watched Crank and Crank 2. And a couple of episodes of Columbo. Ate some carrot soup. That wasn't very nice. I don't know why I do it all the time. Don't know why I do it to myself. Make myself ill. He said, make sure you put a mask on. I said, you bloody masks. He said, I went and got 25 toilet rolls. I said, you go and done what? He said, I went and got 25 toilet rolls. I said, what the hell have you been eating? He says, it's sorry if I need to poo and wee. I'm in the isolated. I haven't got to go outside and do it. I said, what, you dog? You normally go and poo outside, do you? He said, I got loads of the hand washing and alcohol. I said, you got any what? He said, I got loads of alcohol. I said, I got loads of that in the cabinet. What you telling that for? Show off? He said, no, your hand washing alcohol. So I wash my hands. I said, what, after all the poo and wheeze? He said, yeah. The disease is either sneezing or coughing. I said, go on. He said, that's it. Sneezing or coughing. I said, well, what about the poos and the wheeze? He says, yeah, I washed my hands after the poos and the wheeze. And then I think he got a bit confused. He said, and then I do the coughing and the sneezing and I wash my hands. I said, so the poos and wheeze are irrelevant, aren't they? You're wasting everybody's time. He said, all I'm letting you know, mate, is I won't be here down the pub later. I'm going to stay away for a few months. But I'll drop you a text message when everything's all right. I said, oh, please let me know, won't you? He said, anyway, I must be off. I went, you see you later. Take care. Stay in the warm, enjoy your poos and wheeze. He's a panic buyer. Panic buys everything. When the new phones come out, he has to go and panic buy it. If there's a t-shirt with panic written on it, he'd panic buy it. He said, knob. Stay warm.
Panic thing.
Yeah.
And you need to take you down a peg or two.
So
it's my job to take you down a peg or two, so you're back to normal.
So that's your idea of fucking paying someone a compliment, is it?
No, it's just telling it like it is.
Oh, right.
It's one thing with me,
yeah.
is I'll tell it like it
Yeah, you speak your mind, don't you?
Speak your mind.
That's why, but no matter how much you say, you're still saying fuck all.
Oh, that's nice.
No matter how many words you use.
I'm surprised you could fucking get that idea in your little peep, right?
Well, I'm surprised I can get a fucking word in with you. All you do all the time, ever since I met you, is tell me
what a piece of shit you are.
Yeah, and that you speak your mind.
Because I like you and I want you to be a better person.
Yeah.
I don't want you to take it the wrong way, like I don't like you.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you're quite nice, but you're just a bit shitty.
Yeah.
And you need to, pull your socks up a bit.
Oh.
And then you'll be worthy to be with me.
Right.
And when the time is right, I will suggest that you propose to me and we have a wedding and that. Because after all, I am the most sophisticated person what you've ever met.
Yeah.
I'm very passionate.
Yeah, you are.
And,
you are.
and then other things. Romanticist, I'm the most romanticist person what you've ever met.
Yeah.
So you just need a bit of guidance and then you'll be right.
Yeah. Well, I suppose, I mean, you have got a point, and I'm sorry if I was having a go at you earlier on.
That's alright.
It's like, I'll get offended something. When people call me a cunt, I'll get offended.
I know.
And I feel, I think they're having a go,
Well, yeah, but they're only trying to help out.
Yeah, just trying to make me aware.
When you're being a stupid cunt.
Yeah.
So you're not a stupid cunt next time.
I suppose so. I mean, if no one was to tell me, I'd never know, would I?
Never fucking know.
Yeah.
Be ignoramus.
Yeah, I suppose so. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your headline actor of the fucking evening, what we is having here, just before I kill myself, the one and only, Mr. LEWIS BRYAN. Thank you.
Hello, thank you. Thanks. I mean, I think I want to capture the spirit of this evening. You have these moments that are life affirming. I think this is kind of death affirming. So thanks for everyone's input so far. And it's generally the mood of the country, isn't it? Anyway, I mean, I think we're all in a bloody state, aren't we? You know, I've heard that spring is on its way, but it's being delivered by Hermes this year, obviously. Rail companies, obviously, there's no one getting on any trains anywhere at the moment, so they've come up with a new initiative to rip you off in your own home. Prince Philip has even heard about this gig and thought, no, fuck that, I'm not sticking around for that. And died at the age of 99. You could say he flaked out. But there we go. And, you know, we're all getting a jab now. That's great. It's all good. I mean, but I don't actually want that COVID jab. I want the jab that Boris got, which makes you immune to any fucking criticism. That's the one I want. And then you go out, and you see these fucking idiots with a mask like that, or they don't even bother wearing. And I think they've got those badges, haven't they? You know, like you've got the baby on board, and for the fat people, bagel on board. And maybe you could get another one for the people not wearing the mask, you know, selfish bastard on board. I think that'll be a good one. But now everything's open. Things are looking up, so you can now go out and buy, again, an overpriced coffee and an overpriced warm beer and sit in a fucking freezing garden with 5 people, remembering why you didn't want to see them for a year. So that's nice. Of course, the warmest place to be right now is Northern Ireland. Those poor fuckers about to set fire to a bus just to keep warm. So, it's pretty grim out there. So that's I've not got much to look forward to, I'll be honest. Brian said this was a door split tonight, so I'm looking forward to getting a couple of screws and a hinge at the end of this. And I haven't got much. I split up with my partner just before the pandemic because I wanted to see other people. So that's gone really well. And I've just, to be honest, I've had so many bad things happen to me in my life. It's terrible. I mean, Anthony was talking about moving out and splitting up with that lift. I had 2 partnerships. I had a girl who was a lift, and I really knew how to push her buttons, I have to tell you. But I moved into my new place, and I thought it needed a lift. We had a lot of stairs, so I thought I'll get a lift. I had workmen in the house for 2.5 weeks, paid them £30,000, and then they left, and I looked, and there was nothing. I got shafted. It's just terrible, and I've had so much bad luck. I bought myself a metal detector, lost that on the beach, spent hours trying to find it with this Roman coin in my hand. That was a waste of fucking time. Filled in one of those forms, adopt a humpback whale. Bit surprised when they actually turned up with it. Turned out, it turned really, really nasty. Actually, we had to put it in the bath, and then his real parents turned up. And we ended up in a custody battle. That wasn't very pleasant. I remember his dad turned up at the house giving it the big mammal shit, started spouting all this water everywhere. Actually, you need that like you need a hole in the head. And we had this really long argument with the whale, which was really stressful but strangely relaxing. Wow, noise, I think. I remember he called me in front of the kids. He called me. It's horrible times, and the little one started blubbering. So it wasn't a great time. And I've just had this run of difficult things. We're quite a close family. I've got an older brother. He's always looking out for me. He's a sniper. And I might actually spend some time living at my dad's house. He's quite miserable. He's one of those guys moans about everything, and he's trying to be positive, but just staying at my dad's house was tough. It was difficult, He's one of those guys. When one door opens, there'll be an old fucker there to moan about the draft, generally. And I tried to cheer him up. I redecorated the kitchen to make it look like a small Polynesian island. He went absolutely mental, and I was like, Dad, if you can't stand Tahiti. That wasn't great, really. What you meant to online dating? I mean, what's that? It's, the good thing about online dating I found is you can get 3 women to tell you to fuck off in one evening. So it has worked out a lot better in that respect. And I had a tough upbringing as well. I mean, I come from a long line of alcoholics, usually at the bar, to be honest. It was a horrible upbringing, really, really tough. And my mum actually didn't have a house when she was pregnant with me. I remember growing up, she used to say, when I gave birth to you, I was squatting. And we had no money. We ended up in this weird house with stained glass windows and stained with blood and shit. It was a horrible place, and really, really tough upbringing. We had no money. We had that tradition of clothes being handed down through the generations. I got a bit pissed off going to school in 14th century clothes. I thought that was a bit too far. I remember another time going to school with this wide-rimmed hat, a big feather sticking out the top, cloak and a sword, and they sent me home. Didn't like my cavalier attitude. I think it's a brilliant gag. That's one that some people say do that cavalier one, so and now it's being recorded, and I'll get 12p for it, so that's great. You did say do 10 minutes, but I'm gonna cut it a little bit short, as though I'm so used to cutting it short on these dating apps these days. I think I just one word of advice: when you get back out there, I'm going back to Waterloo, because just before lockdown I saw this really good busker, absolutely fantastic, playing all these tunes, and he was selling CDs for 10 quid. I thought I'll have one of them. Took it home. It's just 20 minutes of him laughing. Could have done with that here tonight, really, couldn't we? Playing in the background. So there you go. That's totally unexpected there. Great, good. So enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you for not supporting live comedy, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Mr. Lewis Bryan. Right, I've decided I'm going to carry on. I'm going to keep going forever. Well, at least until next week. Until next week, right? Okay, next week is the last gig we ever do, right? Unless I change my mind.
But I might do a monthly one.
I've fucking had enough of it.
I might go monthly rather than weekly.
It's fucking torture. It's all right if you do it to other people, if you do it to the public, but fuck me when you do it to yourself. What's the point? La 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 la. Ladies and gentlemen, the very first actor you saw this evening was Mr. Ladies and gentlemen, that was not Robert White, that was Robert White's mum. She's fantastic. She's my heroine. She's mine. I could inject her every day of the week. Do you inject heroin? You don't, do you?
Of course you do.
Do you? Yeah. Oh, right, you know me and drugs. So, that was Robert White, ladies and gentlemen. And Mr. Miller is going to tell you who was on next, even though he got he got the wrong information. But
Roger Lane.
Roger Lane!
Roger Lane!
Roger Lane! Roger, you're still here. I thought you were offended. I thought you left because I shortened your fucking video by about a foot. Right? I had to. Roger, I'll tell you, he said, so I was a very nice young man, and he went, but, and so I had to cut out all the breaths in it. Did you like it? I speeded it up for you. Was it good?
When I sent it to you, it was only 6 minutes 40 seconds. I've no idea what happened in the transfer.
Yeah, no, it was fucking 7 minutes and 40 seconds. All right, okay, it was 6 minutes. It's supposed to be 5 minutes, not fucking. I was going to pretend I had to shorten it just to fit it in, but I thought, fuck me, this is going on a bit. So I just shortened it, and I thought there was a bit in there about. So I thought, oh fuck, we can live without that. Let's get back to St. Patrick. So, and I thought you were going to be mortally offended, and as you give us a gig every now and then, I thought that's a fucking clever thing to do, isn't it? Cut the fucking video down. It's like being circumcised against your will. So, but it was all right. It all worked out. This has been a very traumatic week for me, you know. One way or another, what with the fucking computer blowing up, the hard drive blowing up, the hard drive, the big one, right?
6 terabytes.
Fucking 6 terabytes blowing up. That's blown up, and because it's got 6 terabytes, I thought, oh, I've only used 4 terabytes. I know what I'll do. I'll stick another load of shit on there, but because it was my backup drive, it can't back up itself, can it? So it didn't back up, and I have no idea what I've lost. This has been one of the worst weeks of my fucking life. But apart from that, I've enjoyed it.
Okay.
Right, so
let's finish the roll call.
Fuck me, we've only got through 2 things. And then we had our argument, yeah, that's all right, and we never argue, so
right,
it's
right.
all right. So obviously we were making that up, being horrible to each other, It's
passing the time
us
in the car, really.
acting. We were acting.
Yeah.
And that was followed by Mr. Miller introduced.
That I introduced Joshua Ross.
Joshua Ross, and he sends us fucking poetry, and he hasn't even bothered to turn up to take responsibility for it. He sends us poetry, and I think, oh fuck me, yeah, and as it happens, it was quite good. But if I'd have cropped him down, I would have gone down to fucking 2 minutes. So that would be. I hope he's not watching off, on Facebook. So that's why I was thinking of just killing myself, and I thought, no, I'll just go through with it. And see what happens. Yeah, 2 minutes of pattern match. Now, I like them.
Hi, Sean.
Oh, sorry. What did you say?
No,
you like
that's
them,
not.
what?
No, don't.
Hi, Sean.
Catherine, hello, and welcome, one and all, to 2 Mins of Pat and Matt. Now, I have a question for you, Catherine.
Right.
War, what is it good for?
Ugh. I mean, some say absolutely nothing, but I would disagree.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think that it's very good for resolving conflict.
Yep.
And pardon?
Tick.
Yeah. And managing population.
Another tick. You're spot on. You're not wrong, Catherine.
No, I mean it's been the preferred method.
Come again?
It's been the preferred method, hasn't it, for resolving conflict? I mean, forever.
Yeah. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, keep shooting at it. And also, you know, I feel like every now and again there's just too many blokes, and Mother Nature has stepped in and gone, ladies, don't worry about it. I've got one way of stopping this.
Yeah.
And then she stirs the pot.
Yeah.
And then they all fuck off.
Tale as old as time, Catherine.
Yeah. What do you think?
Well, I also think it's good. And I think it's good for soul music. Like the question itself, great tune. And what you notice is that War has produced, say what you like about War, it has produced some real dance floor bangers.
It has.
And I mean, for that alone, we should be thankful. And also that's useful because then when you've got loads of widows in their 20, they can just pop out down the club and snare themselves another fella.
Yeah. The ones that spy.
Yeah, exactly. The fit ones.
Yeah.
The tough one. It's all Mother Nature's plan.
See? That's why I like them. They're fucking short. They're not 20 minutes fucking long. Now, and Mr. Miller, what happened after that? I know it was after that.
Oh, okay.
You're not paying attention to the show. Are you actually involved in this?
Yes, I am involved in a distant way. So then after that, we have Al Mandolino with a tune.
Yeah. Who has just recently been overacting a bit, hasn't he? He's kind of overdoing it. He's like, here, Al, play a bit of tune, and he starts fucking talking. You know? Yeah, no, I said play it. Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, see, and he plays while you're talking then. So that's rule
Well, this is why Elizabeth I wanted to ban this, you know.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, nothing to do with the horns. The horns of paganism. Yeah. So after our Mandolino, what happened?
We had Mr. NIK COPPIN.
NIK COPPIN. Nick! Hey! Woo! Nick! Now, Nick, you just did one long fucking advert, didn't you? What have you been doing? Well, I've been showing my girlfriend, I've done this, I've done some pictures, I've wrote a fucking book.
I've done a DVD.
Oh, I mean, you know, if you'd just done one of them, that would have been enough. But you thought, no, I've written some poems.
I mean, we don't go on about
I do impressions.
Our songs or our artwork.
We don't go on about our artwork.
Or our
No.
CDs.
We don't go on about the fact that you can donate money by PayPal. We keep it a secret.
Yeah.
We do, yeah. We keep it a secret, and I've taken your thoughts into account. He said, take that bit off the screen where it says, save a starving comedian. Support a starving comedian. There we go. I took this off, and now because I've mentioned it, it's come back on.
Yeah.
But Anthony's got an explanation for that. What's that? What's
well,
that?
I had this theory that if you have
you
it
didn't.
on there,
Ava had a theory, and she told you what to say.
Yeah.
Go on.
Well, if you have it on there all the time, then people sort of phase it out in their brain. Whereas if you switch it on and off, then they will notice it.
Yeah, that's actually quite good. That wasn't the gist of it that I got from the email. I was going to read the whole.
Other gist of it was that we don't explain economically how the gig works. So it sounds like we're some kind of cross between the Joseph Rowntree Foundation or something.
No, it says support a starving comedian, but that's in plural.
Yeah.
All of us, we're all starving, except Al. We're all starving. He's a starving musician. Yeah. So that's the idea, is just to get it on. And I think, fuck them. If it needs explaining, they can fuck off. They should be watching something else, with people with teeth.
Yeah. Well, no, I just felt that,
No, you didn't. You had no feelings whatsoever. All you said to me was, Ava thinks. And I know that, and she's quite right. Yeah. Vicky thinks as well, but I don't advertise it.
I used to reference it, but now I just put a comment on the comments, and then he doesn't like it when I try and plug money.
No, I fucking hate it. I hate it. If they haven't figured out that you're supposed to put a few quid our way, then
well, no, because I think you got to do the sordid coin thing, but you've kind of got to just nail it in a short time or something. Asking for money is always horrible. Being on the door at Pear Shaped is always horrible.
You can make a song. You can make a song.
People come and say, "Are they funny? Who have you got on? Never heard of them."
I know. Yeah. Well, as far as I'm concerned, fuck those people.
You don't have to come in, but
Yeah. They come to Pear Shaped, London's second worst comedy club in the whole fucking universe, and they go, "Oh, are they funny? Fuck off!"
Let's finish.
Fuck off!
Excuse me.
Point
of order.
We don't have to be funny.
Can we finish the roll call and then talk about?
Where did we get to?
We got to Nick.
You started all this, Nick. Right.
You're selling jobs.
Yeah, fucking selling things, coming on here like it's fucking.
Yeah, but it's not the basics of selling.
It's not eBay.
The basics of selling that you explain what you're selling.
We can't actually hear you,
but
Nick.
that's Nick agrees with you on that, but I don't. I, as far as I'm concerned, if they can't figure out that a few quid wouldn't do us any harm in the current
Come on,
situation.
let's finish the roll call.
Shut up!
What's going on about it?
Right.
Come on. We had Ross Ferratu was our.
We had Ross Ferratu, ladies, who doesn't remind anybody of anybody. But that's as far as I'm concerned, that's okay.
Oh no, we had our man in La La Land.
Yes. Fucking all the way from LA. Not LA. He sent me fucking 2 videos. One of them, right now, he's supposed to do fucking 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Every week. That's why he's on every week, because it's 2 minutes. If it was 5 minutes, it'd be once a month. But he said, no, I've got this fucking great things. He said, I've had...
We haven't finished the roll call yet. Finish the show before
and he sent me these things, and it made me feel fucking ill. He's telling me about fucking root canal in great detail. About 3 seconds after that, it's going, they've gone down there. They drilled in there and they drilled the shit out. And when I used to go to student dentists in London, I said, I don't care what the fuck you do, just don't tell me about it. He's put it on video. And then it's got fucking the other video. It's got fucking poor people in Mexico, fucking poverty-stricken bastards selling shite. The ones you wouldn't open your car window to. And he's going, oh, look at them, poor cunts. I'm fucking selling that shit.
You are paraphrasing, to be fair.
Brian will be building.
I am paraphrasing.
Right, and then we had
it's
our
not over
headline
yet,
act.
but I have still decided that next week is the last week I'm ever doing this. I can't.
Let's finish this show before we.
Don't you start.
Just finish the show.
You know we never
and
argue.
Then you can start doing the dissection.
Oh.
Right.
Where was I?
We had LEWIS BRYAN.
LEWIS BRYAN. Look, Lewis. That was absolutely, but you came on here, you fucking told jokes, and then when you ran out of jokes, you stopped.
Yeah.
That is what we want.
And you've still got the
That is
lockdown
what
here.
I call talent. Someone who knows when to stop.
I'm not ever doing this again. Just
But
not yet. Just to be clear, yeah.
Nor am
This is the last
I've
time.
decided. Next week is the last one. You can come on next week if you want for the final.
I'll come along just to make sure that you don't ever do it again.
Did you say it's in Dystopia?
Yeah, that's right.
Where the hell is Dystopia?
Well,
I know where Fitzrovia is.
Yes, we all know
that?
There used to be a comedy club there called Pear Shaped in Fitzrovia.
Yes. Well, if you'd let me get a word in edgeways.
Pear Shaped is just a favour to come in, and we hope that you'll be coming back again to Pear Shaped in Dystopia every Wednesday night at 8:30. Every Wednesday night at 8:30.
Well, although next week sounds like it's going to be the last Wednesday night at 8:30, but we're yet to decide about that.
We'll see.
Is he serious, Krysstal?
Yes. Although he keeps vacillating, but yeah, I think he's serious. Or we might just go to once a month. Vacillating, that's a word, isn't it?
It is, but I've never. It sounds dirtier than it probably is. Do you know what I mean?
Probably. Yeah. Well, he's that's sort of Brian in a nutshell, isn't it?
Yeah. It looks like a
Dirtier than he
vacillator.
probably is.
Yeah.
Mind you, I seem to remember him saying Pear Shaped in Fitzrovia was going to shut regularly for about 10 years.
He used to say that about the Stockdale Comedy Club.
And one day it came true.
Yeah.
Haven't you done 2 gigs this week as well, though? As well as it?
We did 2 gigs last Thursday night.
Oh, great!
Right.
How was that?
We
Where
did
was
2
that?
in one go. Well, 2 in 2 goes. And we got another gig tomorrow on the Zoom.
Nice.
With
Well,
Henry Ginsberg.
When you add all that up, it's a lot of time on the internet, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah. But it's more that Brian spends all his week just doing Pear Shaped. And we don't have time to do anything ourselves. You know what I mean?
Oh, can't get down in a dungeon.
Huh?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it really does take me all week. I'm fucking
Let's get an erection.
Oh. Oh, why don't you rattle your crisps?
Oh, sorry.
He's shaking his bottle.
Do you know what?
I'm glad you showed up again. I thought I'd really fucked you off. I thought he's not going to show up tonight. But it's been a fucking week. Oh, and as I say, the computer I normally use is fucked. My big hard drive is fucked.
And your brain is fucked.
And my brain is fucked.
This is a tradition of the gig, by the way. Every week, if you've not done this before, for the people who are here for not often, at the end of the gig, Brian sits in his little corner, real like the Brady Bunch in our little squares, and he slags off his week, right? And how awful the day's been, and how he hates technology, and they're all coming to get him. And it's always great. It's always great, Brian.
It's shite. It's shite. And it's my fault. It's one thing. I used to do karaoke night. We used to do karaoke nights in Australia, and we used to sit there thinking, "Fuck, we're responsible for this shit," which is a terrible burden.
I think taking responsibility is the first step, though, Brian. So well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can't take much more responsibility. I really can't cope with it.
It's a lot to take on, to be fair.
Well, that's why we have staff, isn't it?
Huh?
That's why you have staff. That's why you have staff like us. So you would have lots of MCs and burn them out psychologically.
I know, but I really just want to stop. I really want to stop. And I find it fucking unbearable every week. Because I think, this is going to be easy. I'll be all sorted out. So today's Wednesday, yeah? I think, right, by Friday, I'll have it all sorted out and I'll have sent out the details for next week. And that's never happened yet.
No, because you're still editing the show. He spends about 2 or 3 days editing the show like tonight. And then he spends the next few days
fucking week editing Roger
in.
Lane stuff, and I thought it's going to be right. It's going to be right fucking hump with me.
So
and I
this is the
didn't
part of
even
the show.
tell you.
This is the part of the show where the audience get to see how funny we are naturally with each other. We're hanging out, shooting off the hip. Hey, pow pow.
Yeah, but I think they're quite happy.
There's only 3 of them left.
Why can't you just disappear into the internet?
I think they're more than happy to discover that we're human and fallible. We're not all popes.
Yeah, but you couldn't have to be fallible every fucking week, though, do we? Like, let's have a week when we're not fallible.
I have to be fallible every.
You don't need to edit it, Brian. It's not going to make more sense.
I have to. If you sold a fucking shit, I have to edit every week.
Oh no, we see it.
I think we'd get more people if it was entirely ephemeral and we just threw it away at the end, rather than trying to save something for YouTube. Because I think it is by its nature.
No, I can't live with what goes on Facebook. I can't fucking bear it. I can't bear the thought that people watch it. And
with
I
the
can
mistakes.
watch.
He means with the mistakes, not the.
Yeah, with all the mistakes, with everything in it, and fuck me, it's tedious. I've tried to watch it. It's
like
really
working with
tedious.
David Lean, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's
I
supposed
know.
to have an element of being live and feeling like it's live. So you don't want to.
Yeah, but it also wants to have an element of being quite good.
Well, when did that start with Pear Shaped?
Yeah, exactly.
I've never been told about that.
Who books it?
Yes, but Pear Shaped was properly in private. This is not in private. This it might be.
We don't have to.
Ray Presto wouldn't be having any of this.
in private.
No, it's in private.
It's in private, though, isn't it?
In private on the night. We've done gigs where 4 or 5 people. We've done these where 4 or 5 people watch it, and then 2 weeks later, it's 150 people have watched it. And I think, fucking hell.
That's just Anthony,
I hope
though,
they haven't
watching
seen
it
the
over and
Facebook
over.
versions. Huh?
Isn't that just Anthony watching it over and over again?
Yeah,
No.
and me
No, I'm
is
just
worried.
Once it's gone, mate, I don't want to know. Brian sends me these things say, "You're wonderful. It was a great show." I'm just, oh fuck me, I don't want to know about this again. You know, like those actors who can't watch themselves on screen.
Yeah,
it's like that. I don't want to know it exists.
Do you know what fucked me off? You know what fucked me off this week was I managed to trip over Top Secret's. Top Secret, their things. Now that's fucking class. Not like the shit we produce. That's fucking class. It's just funny people, black background, the name of the club, subtitles. They've got fucking proper subtitles.
But that's not the demographic we're aiming for, is it?
Yeah, that's not your audience. Yeah,
no, but well, also I think when I saw, I just sort of tripped over it. Also, I thought, no, that's a room full of people. It's a small room full of people. Fuck them, yeah.
But you see, the
never
other
liked
thing
them.
about Pear Shaped was we used to put on new people, which was interesting.
Yeah.
Even if it was just 1 or 2. And then
in a way,
eventually some of them.
we're more top secret than top secret because no one's fucking watching us.
Yeah, exactly.
So we've out top secreted them.
There's some nice little idiosyncrasies that go on as well. Like this feud that you seem to have with Al every week is actually quite delightful. Right?
It's because he's a cunt. I've never liked him.
We're still broadcasting.
I've tried. We've been together about 10 years now. Never liked the fucker, and that's what it is. And he secretly doesn't like me.
I preferred those weeks. There were the weeks that, weren't there the weeks at Pear Shaped, Brian, where we'd turn up and we go, "Oh, Al couldn't make it," and we'd all be secretly happy, wouldn't we?
That was very rare. That I think you could count in one hand the number of nights I missed.
I would agree. He might not
He was
be
very faithful.
He might not be a great mandolin player, but he is regular.
He fucking turns up, yeah.
No, he's regular. He's regular. 8 o'clock every morning.
There was nothing like it. I used to love it. Turn up and see you all.
Do you remember, Lewis? Do you remember the night in? It was in Pear Shaped at midnight. You were there with Alex, and you said something, and I thought, that fucking cunt is having a go. And I really went for you. Do you remember that night?
Was that in Edinburgh?
Yeah.
Edinburgh, yeah.
No, I'll tell you what it was. I think, because I was being a bit of a twat, there was someone at the back of the room and I didn't stop talking, did I? Like a twat.
Yeah,
I think that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in the audience.
I remember really fucking
audience.
hooking into you and thinking, right, he's fucking having a go here, so I'll have him.
I don't remember that. I only remember nice things about you, Brian.
But I also remember making 2 women cry in Edinburgh.
Right.
Because they wouldn't shut up. They wouldn't shut up, and they just kept going and going, and eventually they burst into tears, and they said, like it was my fault.
Did you hit him or something?
You just shut up and let the fucking show go on.
It just kept telling them, shut up.
Yeah, shut up, you cunt.
Until they cry.
Yeah, and that was in the same month. 2 of them cried. And then we came back to London, and I made another lady cry. So I'll make them weep, you know what I mean?
Can I just repeat what Krysstal just said? We are still broadcasting. Just so, in case you've forgotten, we admit to upsetting too many women out there in this modern world of Me Too. Then I got back and I kicked the fuck out of this film. Looked me the wrong way. I thought, fuck it, I steamed in.
And you, Lewis, you can fuck off as well.
Yeah, but anybody who wouldn't shut up. When you're doing we did a night once in Edinburgh where the 2 of us spent about 10 minutes trying to get through to this audience who wouldn't fucking shut up. So in the end, I said, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the show. Tonight is cancelled. And we fucking threw them all out. The whole audience.
Gave them the money
we
back.
threw them all out. And the nice people.
And we were trying to tell that because all the comedians kept showing up, and I was going, just go and sit in the pub, just go and sit in the pub, just pretend you're just in the pub.
I'm not putting any of these acts onto this shower of cunts.
So they were like the bomb squad, except very, very chatty and joining in and having a go and everything. Anyway, so then we cleared them out and we got them out the pub, and then we brought all the comedians back in and started
we had
the
a
show
fantastic night. It was a wonderful night once we got rid of all the cunts. Fuck 'em.
Were they
That's
actually
what I
bomb
say.
squad? Were they actually bomb squad?
There were
No, that was
not
Pear
in
Shaped.
Edinburgh, but there was the bomb squad in London that used to come and watch.
Yeah, they were all
who we've
they were all
talked about.
that wide, and they sit there like that, going, "Oh, that was that one was quite funny." Yeah,
They never laughed.
Completely.
I didn't like the
diffusing
one
the
before. And you'd love to see what they made of Paul Foot.
Yeah, what did they make a full foot?
Yeah, he's fucking gay, isn't he? Yeah, he's great, yeah.
Well, it was Robert. It was Robert that did the song for them, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, right, yeah.
He really got stuck into it.
Yeah, Robert got in because he loves calling people cunts in the audience.
Do you remember the name? Do you remember the title of the song he did?
Who, Robert?
What did he call
it? It was Anal Oral Gangbang.
Oh, that one.
It was to the tune of Kitty Kitty Bang Bang.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyway, that soon got rid of him. Right, so we've been on for 1 hour and 45 minutes. I'm going to end the broadcast.
Oh, that's longer than usual.
It is longer than usual. So I'm ending the broadcast.
Who's going to read the apology?
For the 3 people who are still watching, thank you for staying to the bitter end. And,
who are they? Can you check who they are?
No, I can't check who they are.
You can't. You
It
can't
just
look
says
at the
there's
comments
3 people
or
on.
something.
Well, we know Angus was there, Ava was there, or she left.
Yeah,
David Moss,
Angus is.
Dickie Richards,
Ava's had enough. She's
Dickie
just
Richards.
I'll talk to Anthony about this when he gets
and maybe some
back
people
to the
who
other
didn't
room.
comment.
It's like Ron Blank to blank with all these squares, don't you think?
We've just picked up another audience.
Yeah.
4 people are watching.
Wait, we can't go
5.
now.
Fucking
Stop in, guys.
One of
Who's for an
them's you.
encore? Who wants to
Let's
talk
do the whole
moaning?
show again.
An encore of moaning.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Pear Shaped.
One of them is you, so it doesn't count.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, who's doing that?
What's that?
I don't know. Okay, so I'm ending the broadcast. Thank you, everybody, and
Yeah.
we'll probably see you next
Thank you,
week.
audience.
And,
Don't worry about what Anthony says about contributing and money and stuff like that shit. We don't
who's
worry
left?
about that. Who
Yeah,
cares?
Roger.
Oh, Jeff. Oh,
Jeff.
Jeff.
Who is it?
Roger Renault.
Oh, Roger
Angus. Angus is here.
Well, Roger.
And Dave Moss has been here.